This is a simulation game set in a virtual world and does not represent real life. Please play in moderation, take frequent breaks, and play responsibly.
Rather say, try to jump near where Savage Esports jump. But they would actually know when Savage Esports get a knock, right? Torre Ahumada is where the flight path starts from, downtown towards the area of Los Leones. That means El Pozo, Creditfields, gonna be the tough task for them. A daunting one, to be more precise. We have everyone completely jam-packed in the lobby. But what a game. Want to talk more about how the 26 finishes game happened for Savage Esports. We have seen a lot of teams that tried to make a rotation, and this is not the first time that we are witnessing any team trying to dominate this sort of circle. But this was not the team that was supposed to be at the position. They paved their way, and they just not only came in, they made sure that they got all these finish. And for the moment, it's Savage Esports going towards the northern side of water treatment. I guess they might go towards the area of La Cobreria. El Hazard is where 7 Cs are jumping towards. A long glide for a lot of teams. Chumacera, Minas, Ladrilla, Montenevo. All these areas are those comfortable position for a lot of teams. But I expect we might just get to see somewhere down the line on Hacian del Patron or Los Leones that we can expect. But Circle has just been the rough touch for today. The first game we just saw, there is certain love of Circle with water this season, I'm telling you, Lauder.
True, very true, very, very true. And it definitely does count, because that is what makes the game that much more exciting and exhilarating to watch and cast as well. On the other front, as you talk about the zone, right, I would love to see it. It rarely happens, seldom ever have I seen a zone go all the way down towards the prison island. But I would love to see if that sort of a hard shift could be showcased from this zone. But again, like I said, it's like a 0.5% probability of that happening. On the other front, as you were discussing about Savage, yep, they've taken those vehicles and gone all the way north towards La Cabrera, so they are going to have to make a pretty long rotation for their side. And from the north, as you move on down to the extreme southern side, we do have Venom Legends players towards Impala, and along with that, Noob Alliance. Here they are moving on along with a pretty decent approach and a pretty good loot, I would say, for the first 2 minutes itself. And of course, as the game progresses on along, they're going to be wanting to get the better half of these fights in this match number 2. But again, now, this is something that has been part of the conversation for so many casters of PUBG Mobile, right? When you're on the map of Miramar, when you've got a vehicle, you want to be able to get at least 2 to 3 vehicles rather than having all 4 players just bulged up in one. But again, this is just the first 2 to 3 minutes, so nothing given away from the side of Noob Alliance, but hopefully they are able to get a better vehicle for themselves. On the other front, as you move on down towards the Real Soldiers players, Killer YT, moving on along with well, again, I mean, he's got a level 3 backpack, so that's good, but no gun, nothing too good for him. But of course, as he progresses on along, he will definitely find it. In the water treatment region, he finds himself. His teammates, I did not see in the mini-map, but again, he is 1,500 meters. And that is going to be a casual approach for so many of the teams, because the zone is so extreme southwest. So for so many teams, the zone is definitely going to be a bit of a cause for concern, so to say, if they don't start making that rotation a bit early. On the other front, as the day started off, I was talking about the Gurkhas right here to RGR. This team, I had high anticipations. I still do have high anticipations from this team, but let's see if Miramar is going to be the map for them or not.
Definitely. Last time, I guess this was one of those teams that really have the problem to make a move onto the southern island, because they were just stuck. And once, so you have only 2 ways. If you're not taking waterways, you have only 2 landways. You have the Novo Repnoy Bridge or the military base. That was the game and the storyline of Erangel, where they actually drastically failed. But I guess once they make a move into this game of Miramar, they have a real good time for the moment. It's Ryu Everyone just spread out, and as you perfectly mentioned, as you perfectly advised, everyone needs to be separated. I guess it was just the swag of the gold Vivato that made the players be sitting in the same vehicle. Apart from that, I don't see any other reason for that.
Dude, and look at the distance. 4,100 meters away from the zone, X-Brothers find themselves right here.
Are they
Again, the
even in
loot.
the map? Oh, Campo
I mean,
Militar, yes, there is a city.
This is,
I
they're on
remember.
the northeastern side, yep, exactly, and they're all by themselves, so the loot is definitely going to be working for them. No other team around them to contest for any of that loot, but again, they better find a vehicle and start making that rotation. It's just only 5 minutes into the game, but
Yes.
being that further out, I mean, it's like
No,
two edges, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
on
yeah.
one southwestern edge is the zone, and they are on the northeastern edge. So they're going to have to cross the entire map, X Brothers, to get into the comfort of the zone. And as they do so, if they're not quick enough, why am I saying again and again in the first 5 minutes itself that these teams should start making motivation? Because if they start delaying that, yes, the zone will catch up to you, the blue zone will catch up to you. You will be given a little bit of damage, not a lot, so that's okay. But as you start making that rotation, then
Oh, yes.
can become that much more of a trouble for you as you try and get into the zone. The teams that are already in the comfort of that zone will try and take that fight to your face, and that is where you wanted to start your game with a decent good loot, but your game would have ended drastically. And yeah, that's the reason, that's the main reason. But nevertheless, I mean, moving on away from that rotation-based conversation, we do have the gangsters right here who are going to be looking pretty neat as well. So again, in the map of Miramar, we do know that a lot of shots, a lot of mini action can very well be seen, but along with that, we shall see what sort of bolt action will we see, or rather from what team and what player can we see that, because S9, you talk about S9 and the way they have their wonderful prowess on towards the gun of bolt action guns, right? I mean, they are pretty good in terms of those head cracking shots, but let's see which team will be giving us those phenomenal plays today.
If I'm not wrong, Mongolian players and Mongol teams in particular are pretty much good with their bolt actions. Be it
True.
not only just about these bolt actions. You have all these DMRs also coming up into the favor. We talk about the mini and all these times SKS, SLR. They are pretty good to them, and this is something that happens in the game in the map of Miramar and Erangel. When we go onto the map of Sarok, there are also some exclusive weapon onto them, and they really have a good shot onto those weapons. But for the moment, I really want the observers to have a keen eye and want you to show us the minimap that where the teams are actually positioned. I really want to see how Savage Esports are going to make a move into the circle, because they went towards that La Cobrity area where they really had to make a tricky situation, tricky rotation, because the western side is completely full of a lot of terrains, and that offers a lot of resistance to them. And for the moment, we might get to see some sort of contestation that can happen, but we'll be in a better position to actually predict where the teams are actually positioned once we get to see the minimap.
Well, we definitely will in a few minutes' time. On the other front, as we talk about Seal 9, a first game not working in their favor, but right here they find themselves in towards the Chumasera region, and they have the crosshairs set up towards the players of 2R, and that is going to be the team of Gurkhas, as we did discuss earlier as well. And this is where it is going to be Yetta, who is going to be in a little bit of a tricky position, because yes, he's got the mini working in his favor, but he also has given away his information, and Seal9 have already taken a few shots on the other side onto the blue zone. We do have X Brothers and 7C catching each other out into that rotation that we had spoken about earlier.
1700 meters. Is it even this fight helping them out? Is it profitable? X Brothers,
Well,
7Cs going up against each other in the map of Miramar. 700 meter eventually becomes 3000 meter if you are not just well traversed with the terrains, because the terrains that actually offers you a lot of resistance. And there we have it. Elite, once he tries to make a move out of his buggy, he gets a lot of shots from the back end side. 1900 meter for X Brothers and 17 to 1800 meter for 7Cs. Not in a good situation, to be honest, brother.
Definitely, and that is something that, of course, we can see X Brothers have been able to capitalize upon, and they are going to be moving away from that position. So that's going to be GT approach being showcased from the side of this team. But is that going to be allowed by 7C's players? Because again, you talk about X Brothers, they are fanned out, whereas 7C's players, they are very good on the other side. First blood comes in from the side of X Brothers. Player has been informed them. Theo who was brought down to the team. Yep, Theo from the side of 7C has been eliminated, and 7C now going to try. They're definitely going to try and get that kill confirmed for themselves and get that revenge going for themselves. But sadly, 7C will not be allowed that. And as so perfectly mentioned by you, mate, the fight started, they were like, what, 1400 meters away, and now they're 3,000, almost 3,000 meters away from the zone.
Circle has shifted.
Exactly,
Gone
right?
away
So a
completely.
tough luck situation for the side of 7C, whereas X Brothers definitely walking away with that one elimination, going to be working in their favor, and they still have all 4 players alive.
So if you say no to a circle, circle will definitely say a big no to on your face, and that's the reason
Yep.
that 1700 meter has certainly increased. At just 1000 meter more, 2800 meter, not going to be an easy task. But that was the team that were out in the blues. We have certain teams that have made quick rotations. Paradox, a new Paradox, a completely transformed one. We just got to see in the very first half of the game. Unfortunately, that was just not the game that they were looking for. Some random shifts here and there, and a lot of teams, not only Paradox, a lot of teams that really find themselves in a debris, 6 feet down under. But as soon as I said that, it seems like TRZ are just adding some masala to all these fights. Jan Mara are set upon onto their Corsair, and Snipe Whitey goes down. We have Mad Cat, Rare FPS, and Mamba, STFU2. Mamba, I remember this lad, this particular lad really impressed us a lot when he played the last time, the national championship that I and you both casted, if you remember. Mamba
Yep.
was the one find out. And for one moment, he moved to Venom Legends for the last PMPL, but then again back to his own hut, to his own home place, to his own team where he belonged to. And I guess this is from where TRZ are going to have a long leap.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if that will be the
just-
case or
I
not.
just
Because
hope.
again, right, they're going against Janmara. So again, talk about Janmara as well. This team is also a pretty ferocious team to go up against. But right now in this fight, I have to give it to you. I mean, TRZ are looking in a better approach because they have that terrain advantage, right? The height advantage working in their favor. And on the other side, for Janmara, it is just a downward slope fight for their side. So they are definitely going to have to get away from that. And Gunner seems to be giving away a lot of information, and it's going to be Red FPS who will try and get that fight to the face of Gunner, where Gunner's approach is to try and get his teammate revived. But will Red FPS give that possibility, will allow that or not? Because we can see Mamba cooking a nade is going to try and take the fight to the face of Janmara. And again, this is not looking good for Janmara's players because they are downward slope fight is what this has turned out to be against them. But again, I mean, an aggressive stance is what we can definitely anticipate from the side of Janmara as well.
One thing Gunner is doing correctly is he's just trying to smoke out the areas. But TRZ Esports, they are pretty much on a pedestal where they're just not fighting themselves in the position. But as soon as we said that, that revival is always a risky one. Snipe White going
Yes.
down, Gunner going down on a slope. That's not the way you go for the revival. That's basic. That is basic, but they are just lacking out of it. Eventually saving, in the course of saving, one player loses two, and Jan Mara, I guess they are just down to 2 players surviving. And the backdrop we can get to see Soulless and Suzanne has came in joining the fray, but I guess it's pretty late.
Well, this is not looking good for the side of Janmara as far as this Miramar map is concerned. On the other side, as we talk about the zone itself, it seems like DRS are finding themselves on towards those mountainous regions all by themselves towards the northwestern side of the zone. So that's going to be working GG in terms of their favor. On the other side, X Brothers and 7C we can see making a rush to get into the zone from the eastern front, and it is going to be quite a lot of teams who find themselves down towards the southern part of the zone as well, where we do have the team of Gurkhas, that is going to be 2RGR, very close to Seal 9 as well. And as they make that rush and push to get into the center of the zone, we do have TRZ's players as well in the blue. So quite a lot of fights taking place, and of course we can clearly see that Savage is also now getting into the fight. We can see onto the Paraboy, right? That is exactly where it is. I think that is what it is. What the player is. Paradox's players are very close to Savage Esports as well. And so that is a fight that Paradox will have to be very cautious of if they get into.
No, definitely.
Ouch.
Paradox.
Just come on,
Players once in the
Oh,
fray.
man.
Savage Esports again trying to replicate the same thing, just trying to flush things off with the help of this grenade. And look at the speed with which Hershey is just moving in. That's just the confidence. That's sheer confidence brought from the last match that Hershey had. And now, one defeat onto the name. I guess the second one will also be secured, but I guess that has been already stolen from some different teams, because a lot of teams hovering around the same vicinity, and not only Savage Esports, DRS, the team that really had a good position before the circle made a shift on the northwestern side, are also coming up into the fight, but DRS also getting a lot of trying to make a most of the situation. They are again facing a lot of trouble issues into this fight.
Try and get the point. This is where the parade is not going to be able to help out, because Seventy's Memo has a better angle in that fight, and this is where his health is definitely going to go against him, but not yet, not so easy, because Vixie has been brought down to almost 15% health, whereas 7C's Memo will be brought down thanks to Dictator, but he had a really good run. He definitely held on the fort for quite a long time. Memo from the side of 7C going up against all 4 players of Kings of BD, but it is what it is, and of course he will be brought down to his knees. Kings of BD get that elimination point for themselves, and as we push on along, it is going to be Savage Esports in a very good vicinity, and right next to them is going to be Jaimana's 2 players, Soulless and Suzanne, going to be making that rotation into the buggy, but out in the open this is not going to be good, but they make it. They made it. All right. So that worked for them, but now they've given away the information to Savage Esports as well.
Oh yes, they just move forward to it. But it's us who know that on the right hand side it's DRS already positioned, so Savage Esports just need to look onto the right hand side. And on the northern side of the map, out in the blues, we have Elementrix going up against Paradox, the 2 left out players, that Scourge and Ego also coming up into the fight. But the Gangsters players are taking down ex-Brothers players pretty badly for the moment. It's still a stalemate situation. Now here Sus is pretty much not in the position. He needs to actually fire at least on a single other player, but he's making sure that if he does, he needs to make sure that his position doesn't get revealed. But Hershey, you better be prepared. Frypan takes him down. Savage Esports are just going all guns blazing unless it is some other team onto the face of it.
Well, let's see what sort of a fight is 7C going to be bringing to this game right here against the players of Savage Esports. Indeed, Hershey has been brought down to his knees, but that kill has not yet been confirmed. Frypan is still waiting to be able to get that kill confirmed, because Savage Esports' players are definitely pushing on along, and Hustler, we can clearly see with the vehicle, is going to be able to get in there to get that revival to his teammates, and Hershey, they know, is a very crucial player that they want to be able to hold on to as long as they possibly can. On the other side, we do have Elementrix being eliminated thanks to Kings of BD, as well as Paradox from the looks of it, and Venom Legends. Now, a 4-man fanned out approach is what has been showcased from the side of Venom Legends. I did talk about this team in the previous game as well. I want to see a real good comeback from the side of Venom Legends. Nightwing Void, I mean, their synergy is so on point, but will that synergy be enough? Because Savage Esports' Sunshare, we can see, is going to be creating a flank angle from that right hand side, and that is definitely a GG approach being showcased from the side of Savage Esports. So again, synergy working in both these teams is going to be top notch, but who will get the better half of that fight? Who will get those nades exactly onto the opponent's head? That is where the conversation is. As of now, none of them have the better half in this fight.
Watch your back. Savage Esports from the front, it's Venom Legend, and on the back end side I can guess it's already Gian Mara or some other teams that are already making it worse for Savage Esports to survive. On different side, it's Noob Alliance that slowly and steadily just falling things off. Out in the open, it's Ligro and Hershey just trying to create a flank. Venom Legends really have a good position at this moment. You can get to see Void along with Steel Shot really holding the sniper nest for the moment. And Savage Esports, I guess they really don't have any other option. And at any point in this game, the aggression can be defeated by just having a good position. And if that happens, Venom Legend has a real clear shot onto that. With that being said, it's Noob Alliance that will bid goodbye to this lobby, and we are just down to 13 teams, where TRZ Esports, hold on, they're just moving up into the fight because they are just being slammed upon from 3-4 different directions. And as soon as I said that, Venom Legends are getting the better half of Savage Esports.
Well, this is looking like a very neat fight being showcased from the side of Venom Legends, and now they have the better half of this entire fight. They are going to be pushing on along towards the player of Savage Esports as Hustler has been brought down to his knees. Just one man remaining from the side of Savage, it seems like, and this is not the kind of play that we anticipated from the side of Savage. My correction, there are two players still remaining from the side of Savage. That are going to be Sanchir and Harshai, two very crucial players, but all four members of Venom Legends are going to be pushing on along with those nade parades. This is looking like a downward fight for the side of Savage Esports. They tried to take the fight to the players of Venom Legends, but they have been caught off guard. Venom Legends, they are in the run. They are definitely grinding in front. But before Harshay says goodbye,